Hello YouTubers, and welcome to another Doctor Who custom video. Today I shall be looking at the second of my planned customs, which is Ian. And without further ado, here he is. So basically Ian is simply just your average 10th Doctor figure, with bits chopped and resculpted and repainted. If I just do a close-up. Now the costume that he's wearing is the costume that he wore in the Dalek invasion of Earth, and I've had to be slightly creative with the colour scheme of this figure because there are no colour pictures that I could find of Ian in a suit. All the colour pictures come from period stories. So there were pictures of Ian from Marco Polo, however he's wearing like a Cossack baggy shirt, so that was no good for the story that I had in mind. Other ones are him in his Roman robes from the Romans. And it was difficult. I couldn't obviously use anything like that because it just seems completely mad and out of place. So from the beginning I planned to use Ian in a suit because I knew it would be the easiest custom to make. But I'll just sort of talk you through what I did in order to make this figure. So here's obviously the normal David Tennant, which was what I used because I had a spare one. And basically, to begin with, I widened the gap between the lapel. So I ripped open Tennant's jacket. I just then trimmed the insides of the lapels just to make it a bit wider, so you've got more of the tie showing. Because you can see with the Tennant figure, you can just barely see the knot of the tie. Whereas with Ian, you've got a bit more. I also added a bit of milliput to the top. So if you look on Tennant, he's got a gap between the collar of his shirt and his tie, whereas Ian hasn't, because obviously Ian's just a bit smarter. The real sort of difficult thing with this figure is the head. Now, before I even started to look at reference pictures, I just thought, oh yeah, David Tennant, that'd be a perfect figure to use. Unfortunately, I didn't realise that William Russell's parting was on the other side of his head. So what that required was to get a pair of scissors, chop the top of David Tennant's hair off, so it looked like he was just wearing a toupee, then get the same scissors and chop the little flick of his hair off the front of his face, sand it all down, and then add the hair back on with milliput. And that was just simply resculpted back on, like so, and repainted. The face had been filled out with milliput because Tennant's a bit skinnier than Ian, so I just filled out the cheeks a bit more and the jawline. The nose had to be redone as well. Tennant's got a crooked nose, as you can see here, whereas Ian has got a much more pointed, straight nose. So that was just done by adding milliput to the bridge of the nose and working it into the actual basis of the figure. And the eyes had to be repainted so that they were blue, and the eyebrows had to be redone so that they were a lot closer to the eyes and sort of came right down. And that's basically it. So it's an easy custom, really. Not much needed doing at all. I also sanded down the pocket as well to make it less prominent. He does have a pocket there, but it's not as baggy as on Tennant. So that is basically the simple way of doing Ian as a custom, which I think has worked reasonably well. I mean, it'll do until Character Options change their mind about not making companions for classic Doctors. and it should serve my purposes quite well. And there we go. So that's how Ian will look, and that's how the TARDIS will look, except for the pillar. The pillar will be gone. I've already started plans for redesigning the TARDIS slightly so that it resembles the 60s TARDIS. Not going to change the console because it's just, well, it was a lot of money, the set, and to try and mess around with it would be mad. So that's going to stay the same, but the walls will change. I'm going to have one printed wall, like in the 60s console room, a normal wall, such as these, made out of proper resin, and the doors. And I will also be making the fault locator. For those of you who haven't seen any Billy Hartnell stories, the fault locator was this huge big wall at the back of the TARDIS where the scanner normally is in classic episodes, and they'd go there to see what was wrong with the TARDIS. So the scanner wall will be gone, replaced with a teeny tiny little television set, which will be about that big, which will be hung up on the ceiling to make it look a bit more like the Hartnell era console room. And as you can see, that's Barbara along with Ian, and that's how they'll look in the story. So there you go, that's how to do Ian if you wish to make an Ian, and obviously you've seen how to do Barbara in my previous review. So there you go, Ian and Barbara, the First Doctor's first two companions, excluding Susan, but I didn't want her in it, she irritates me no end. So there we go. Now, you're probably thinking, why am I showing you a Dead Planet Dalek, or the Dalek's Dalek? Well, this is also a custom of sorts, very simple custom. If you want a Dalek Invasion of Earth Dalek, and you've got a spare Planet of the Dalek's Dalek, there you go. Simple. Basically, just unscrew the base of the Supreme Dalek from Planet of the Daleks, unscrew it, and just stick the Dead Planet Dalek on top. And there you have a Dalek Invasion of Earth Dalek. Now, I don't have the disc on the back. That's because I'm going to wait until the Supreme Controller Dalek, i.e. the Black Dalek, from Dalek Invasion of Earth comes out, so then I can have a good proper look at what the disc looks like on a normal figure, and try and sculpt it accordingly. But I want to make it removable so that I can just simply transfer it from normal Dalek to Dalek Invasion of Earth Dalek. The reason why I actually have done this is because this type of Dalek does make a brief appearance in my story. I'm not going to say how, but it does. I haven't painted the eye stalk or elongated it because I had a look and I thought this was the case. Not all of them had silver eye stalks, some of them still had the Dead Planet eye stalk. So that will be staying the same as well, so I can sort of just interchange the two. So that's it from my review. Next time I shall be talking about Jamie. I shall hopefully be getting on with that quite soon. I am also making a custom of another character, which I didn't plan, but I'm going to make this figure now because, I don't know if you've heard, you may have seen me talk about this on my channel, but Forbidden Planet International is releasing Jon Pertwee as an exclusive. 2 versions of the Third Doctor are coming out. One will be in a blue suit with cape, and the other one will be in frock coat with a maroon bow tie. The blue one is probably from the Sea Devils, and the latter frock coat version is probably from the Green Death. No pictures as of yet, but hopefully we'll be getting some soon. So Jon Pertwee stories are now being written by me, and customs to go with it. And I'll give you a clue as to who it is. It isn't a companion. So have a think on who the custom may be. So that's it from me, and I'll see you next time.